Should be live. Hit refresh.
So count down. This is welcome to live chat over there at the side.
Okay.
You don't want to do that. That's sideways.
Trying to orient. I don't guess I can. Anyway, we'll just go ahead and get started here.
You gotta fix the chat.
You can't see the chat that way. I'm trying, Jeff. I wanted to go in landscape mode, but it won't let me. Anyway, let's just go ahead and get started. Amy's sitting over here in the corner watching, and anytime somebody will drop a comment, she'll go ahead and let me know what's going on. Basically, I'm going to take this bow right here, tear it all the way down. I'm not going to worry about cleanup. I guess we could touch on that right away. So any Lysol wipe, disinfectant wipe, anything like that to
Down a little bit. So.
How's that?
That's better.
There's a lag, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, any disinfectant wipe is going to work. Really doesn't matter there, but you want to try to clean your bow up, get all the crusties off of it as much as possible. I'll just go ahead and start tearing this down. If anybody has any questions or something that you want me to touch on immediately, go ahead and type it in the chat.
Jeff 17 says, I've never tried bow fishing. What's the hype to it? Or hype to do it?
Well, you don't have to worry about what they're biting on. Basically, you're going to be covering so much water. It's not boring. you're not waiting in one spot. You're moving around all the time and trying to find fish instead of waiting on one particular fish to bite in a certain area, so to speak. So, remember what the name of this reel seat is? It was like a tactical series or something, but
yeah.
I actually like these, and I kind of helped design them. Liked them quite a bit, but it's just time to move on. I got the new G Raptor over here from G String Bowstrings, and got it installed on this bow right here, and I'm excited. Like, to me, it's everything a real seat should be. And I mean, they're a little pricey, but I mean, everything quality is. Obviously, one of those support Joey and G string. So I just take this real seat, stick it over here to the side. Okay, we're almost down to a bare bow. I'm gonna take the Mantis 2 off of here because we've got to upgrade for it as well. Am I close enough? Is it okay?
I think that's the only way they're going to see you and the bow at the same time, because otherwise you can only see like half of your face on the bow.
Okay. Well, we'll just try to stay in frame as much as possible. So right here on the top cam, this is what we got to pay attention to first. Okay, this is your timing lock bolt, and what that does, you can see it actually locks the cam into the timing wheel. What is it?
Keith's watching. He says, "Keep them in line, Amy." LOL.
Keith, I got some bad news, buddy. We got your bow together, and they sent me the wrong cables, so we're gonna have to drop back and punt. Basically, to take the weight off your bow, you see that these limbs are maxed out, but these are shaved limbs. These limbs are like 25 pounds. And I have a new set of limbs right here that are 35-pound max limbs, and we're going to drop them in today. So to make sure that I don't do damage to the cables, even though I am upgrading everything, I want to go one turn at a time on each side until I can get the string off. Pretty loose there. So I'm going to go ahead and just sit down, put the bow between my legs, pull down on the top outboard, and I can go ahead and take my string off. Now, the string's wore out. I'm not going to use it again. Throw it off to the side there. And you can see I still got a little bit of tension. So I'll go back off a little bit more. Okay. Now we're getting down low tension now. So maybe a little bit more on this one. Okay. So I'm going to start by pulling a little pressure on my cam here, and I can reach in, and I'm going to take my power cables off first and then push the cam the other way, and I can take the yoke cables off. Now, obviously, with a little less tension, these will just fall right off, but I want to do it in a controlled manner. Okay. So this is your yoke cable, and this is your power cable. This little piece right here on top, this little plastic piece, is called the saddle. So how I remember the two is kind of horse stuff, right? A yoke and a saddle is kind of horsey, so they go together, right? And then this one on the back is on the end of the limb that makes power. So this is the power cable. Anyway, I want to go up here on top of my saddle and loosen the saddle bolt up just enough to where I can get it to come past the bolt there, and that's done. Okay. On my end caps, if I roll them around the side of the bow, I can take them right off. Now we'll go around here to the other end. I'll do the exact same thing. Okay. Those are out of the way. Got my end caps off. Set them right there. I'm gonna go ahead and back my my limb bolts all the way out. Now this is a good time to go ahead and clean this up. It don't look too bad. It's kind of greasy, okay? But I want to make sure that I put some brand new grease in that hole before I reassemble. There's a helicoil down in there. Now that helicoil, obviously in a magnesium riser, it can be a nightmare sometimes. I've pulled a couple of them out myself, and I always want to make sure that I lubricate everything as much as possible upon reassembly. Now I can take our grip off. Now these are a grip that I make out of G10 material. I call them half grips. It's an 1/8 inch plate over here, and then some shaved down 3/8 material over there. Makes the grip really small. But we're going to go ahead and do our timing cables on this bow to show everybody how to do it. It's kind of the hardest part of rebuilding one of these. It's not really hard. It's just a pain in the butt trying to line up the end of the cable. Anybody got any questions? How many people are watching?
We're up to 12, back to 10, back to 9.
Yeah, that's not bad. So I'll just take my grips, lay them off to the side there, and then I can go ahead and take off my line puller as well. It's not really in my way, but only take a second to come off there. Now this bow's not terribly dirty, but I've been cleaning bows all day for like the last 6 hours, and this one's not too crusty. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm not going to worry about cleaning it. You guys don't want to watch me do that anyway. But if I were going to clean it more, now would be the time for me to do that. I would be taking my Lysol wipes and every little nook and cranny and getting every little thing off. I don't really want that piece of Velcro on there anymore, so I'll just go ahead and pull it off there.
Jeff117 says, can any compound bow riser be made to bow fish?
Absolutely can, Jeff. However, you want something that you can shoot with fingers, that you can snap shoot, and not all compounds can do that. Ideally, we want to shoot somewhere in the 30 to 35 pound mark. Some guys like to shoot 25 pounds, and some guys like to shoot 40, but for the vast majority of us, most of us shoot in the low 30s. So now before I take this off, before I take my timing set apart, I want to go ahead and make sure that my upper cam is centered, and I'm going to go ahead and tighten it back up. And I'll explain why I'm doing that here after a bit. It'll be more apparent upon reassembly. Just snug it down. Don't have to worry about making it too tight. Okay, and that keeps everything in time. When we reassemble, I want to make sure that my center of the cable is where it should be. So got some crusties and some grease and all kinds of stuff. So on the top cam, okay, the top cam, which has our timing bolt, we'll flip it over, and on the timing wheel, there is a Allen head there, and that holds the center of our timing cable. And I want to go ahead and remove this. Make sure that I don't lose the little washer that goes along with it. Set it right there. Little screwdriver out. Pick my washer. Okay, and then it'll look like that right there. Then I'm going to come down here to this end, and we're going to remove the pill which holds the end of the timing cable. Now to do that, I have to do one thing first because there is a small set screw right here, and I have to back that out. Sometimes it is a pain in the butt to get out. Okay. Now that I have that set screw backed out, I'll take a large Phillips head and I'm going to go in reverse rotation, and I am pulling the timing cable out just like this. Now at this point, more than likely I'm not going to pull that completely out. So I'm going to come down here, pull the cable off of this end, walk it down here to where I can get a hold of it, and I can pull on it a little bit and try by maneuvering my screw back and forth. More than likely it's not going to come out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come over here on the back side and I'm going to push that pill out. Okay, just like that. Now you can see, where'd it go? Oh, it ended up right here in my grease. All right, wipe it off. I was going to say it didn't hit the table. Anyway, this is our pill, okay? And all it is a little piece of aluminum with a hole in the bottom of it. And the end of our timing cable, get it out. See, it doesn't even want to come out of there without the pill. But the end of our timing cable just has a little brass thing on the end of it, and it has to go in that hole. Okay, when it goes in that hole, then the pill has it, and then you take your screwdriver and you twist it, and it wraps that cable around that pill, and it takes up the slack. This is where the nightmares start, because it is a pain in the butt to get the brand new cable in that pill and in that hole. But we're going to try. First of all, I want to make sure that the size, sometimes on the manufacturing process, this gets to be too large. But looks to me like Mr. Greenwell's got everything running nice and smooth, and that goes right in there. So I'm going to go ahead and put my pill back in the hole, but I want to line up. Tell you what, take this. Get close with this camera, because this is kind of important. Everybody needs to be able to see it. There. Okay. So I'm going to take the hole right there that I can see and go right back down in the idler pulley. Okay. Then I'm going to take the Allen and get it to where it's lined up. It feels like it's getting there. There. Okay. So now with my Allen, take that out, I'll put it back in there, and I can see that I'm going all the way through. So now I want to do the same thing with this, and start by pushing and twisting. And essentially, I'm just pushing it, hoping to get that to go in there. And it's not going out. So this is the pain in the butt. I want to double check my hole. Okay, don't fill the hole. There. Okay. Sometimes it helps to bend it. Kind of felt like it might have took. Nope. It did not take. It's not hard, guys. It's just it's tedious. You've got to be patient with it. It's blind. You can't see it. You have to be able to feel it. And then you're also fighting with pushing it in and out. Go around to the other side. Well, let's try this a different way. How about, and I've only done this one other time, but if I push this in on the side and go up like this, now I'll push this in through the pill and pull it back. Will it allow me to get it in there? I don't know if this will work or not. Looks like it will. All I got to do is get it to the point where it's straight. There we go. Well, now see, when I turn it, it actually takes cable up. Okay, well, I learned something new today. That's a hell of a lot easier than doing it the other way. So I will go ahead and flip my cams over, and this one that comes off the top will go all the way down like this. This one that comes around the timing set will run in that groove and then over top of the timing idler wheel. Now, when they come down the other end, they do the opposite. So the one that comes off the top here, it actually goes over the idler wheel. And just like that, you should be able to see that there's one cross on this. Okay. And now I want to go ahead and flip this over. And I want to hold this in my hands, just like that. Okay. Now, our washer and our little bolt is going to go right in here. So the important thing is before I put this on here, let me hold it so we can see and talk about it. The important thing is that both of these are lined up to one another. And I am off a little bit. Okay, so now they're lined up pretty close to one another, and that is about where center is. So by holding my fingers on both sides right here, I'm going to take and thread this around, but I want to do so in the center and make sure that there is the same amount of slack on both sides. Okay, and you see I'm off just a little bit, but for the sake of the live, I'm going to go ahead and try to get this in here, and then we will see how far we are off. All right, hold your mouth right. Okay. I'll make sure that washer is centered. And I'm not gonna clamp that down hard. All I'm doing is just putting tension on it to make sure it stays there. All right. Now we'll come back over to our other side here. See, make sure everything stayed. Make sure everything stayed in the pulleys. And I'm going to tighten this up. Okay. Tighten it up, make sure. Then I will take an arrow and I'm going to lay it right here on my cams and make sure that I'm halfway close to being straight. Pretty close, not bad. That means that I'm pretty much in the center on my timing down here at this end. Okay. So now that I know that I'm pretty much in the center, I can go ahead and I can tighten this up. Making sure that the washer is the same even all the way around there. Make sure that that is actually pushing on our timing set. Now, before I lock this timing system down, I want to go ahead and put my grips back on. Got a little bit of stuff in the grease. It's a good time to go ahead and grease this. Anytime you can minimize friction, I want to do so. Just a little bit of grease in the slot. I'll go ahead, turn it over there, and then we'll put this back together. Any comments or anything?
Doug's story said try pulling the pill out, push cable in hole, and I placed it in pill outside of the hole and put it back in hole.
Sounds like what we ended up doing, I think.
And Jeff 117 said, "Nah, I see what he said. It's a pain."
Yep.
We can go in.
Yep. I've had it in both ways, but as easy as that went in that time that way, I'll probably do it that way from now on.
You're 18.
So I'm just going to snug my grip up. Okay, my grip's snug. Make sure that everything rolls. And now I can tighten up my timing set. So I want to put my Allen over here, tighten it up until I start to feel that pill. Okay, it's probably getting close. I'm going to go ahead and put a little tension on that. I can feel the cable stop. Okay, put a little tension on it, back off just a little bit, and make sure that set screw is tightened up around there. Okay, Looks like everything looks good there. I would prefer to have this cross up in the grip a little bit. So all I have to do should have got my power screwdriver. Okay. There. And just like that, now I'm straight on both sides and the cross is underneath there. Okay. So everything looks pretty good there. Now we can go ahead and we can update our limbs. And all I've got to do there is remove these two Allens from the hinges. Make sure I save my nut bar. And then these limbs have a wedge to them. The angled piece, which is right here, which is flat there and flat all the way on the top. This angle goes against the belly of the bow, which will be just like this, because that will be, my riser will mount right here. Get that one started. Now, want to make sure you can see how the tips of those bolts are just barely over flush, okay? And just like the tips on that side are just barely below flush, actually. So when that hinge closes, you want to make sure that you don't have too much bolt sticking out. And you notice these actually had two washers on them to fight that. So that's actually a good fitment. If there was any more than that sticking out, I'd probably be looking at taking a Dremel or a cutoff wheel and grinding those down just at least a little bit. As far as hinge lubrication goes, I generally use something of the gun variety. Okay, it's just a anti-corrosion lubrication penetrating oil. Just a couple shots on my hinges, and I'll do this once a month on all my bows, and just wherever I can get it in there. Absolutely, that stuff works really well. Let's go ahead and I will do my other. Just like before, checking where my wedge is, and it's going to be right like that.
Ryan Bomer says, have you gotten a chance to shoot a Leviathan yet?
I have not shot a Leviathan yet. I've shot a Vader, I was impressed with the power that little bow made, but I have not shot the Leviathan or the, what's the other one called from Dead Wake? Those guys know. I don't remember what the name of it is. One of them's cammed and one of them is camless. I think the Leviathan is the cammed one. Okay. Double check. That one looks good. And listen to them while you're putting them together. This one here, right here on the end, there's a little rust coming out of the end of that hinge. It's not a terribly big deal. It just means that it's, going to need attention in a couple years. But as long as I keep it lubricated, it'll probably be fine for a while. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, we can start putting our bow back together.
Back over here.
I'll tell you what, if you can read comments and stuff there, just hang out there if you're all right. You need a drink? Step over and get you a drink. You're all right. Just do the best you can. All right, so we got our end caps cleaned up there a little bit. Nothing major. I do want to clean all the crust off those limb bolts. It is old grease, okay, but that old grease has held pieces of sand and debris and all kinds of shit. So I want to put fresh grease on them. And it's like all that stuff. I don't want to be jamming it right back down in the threads. It just takes a second to clean it up. Okay. So got a little bit of grease here. I'm just going to paste it on my threads. Okay. Good job. And I also like to put some on here and go down into the hole. That way I know I'm getting new grease in there. And you don't have to worry about over greasing it. Oh, you know what? Wow. That's cool. So this is a really old riser, and I'll tell you why. Let me grab a newer riser. So the newer risers, that same hole or that same pocket right there where the limb bolt is tapped, this one has a relief. So you can push grease and it'll come out. This one doesn't have a relief because this is a really old riser. And both of those are CP risers. I don't have any JP risers. So, huh? What? Keith's bow? Yeah, Keith's bow. Keith's bow is actually a CP riser. Oh. It's from 2016 before the changeover. So what I like to do, I like to run this in and without getting too scientific, I got about 1.8 inches there. Okay. And that's all I'm doing. I don't want to run in too far, but that 1.8 inches should give me adequate space to go ahead and and get my limb bolts back in. Okay. Close enough. Bob's your uncle. All right. So now we're going to take our cables, and I want to make sure that my string is well within reach. Probably going to have you come around on this side, babe. I know I'm going to drop that. So I take my end caps here. I'll put them on. And before I put them all the way on, I'm going to put some grease right here on the pivot bar. Just right there, and it's going to go right here on this pivot bar. I want to make sure that I lubricate that up. Okay. So now on your bow, you're probably going to have stickers and it'll say Osprey or Oneida or whatever. You want to make sure what your top and your bottom limb is. I don't have to worry about that. All I have to worry about is getting things in there. So here's how I like to do it. Doesn't matter whether it's top or bottom first. I'm going to take a power cable and a yoke cable. Okay. I'm going to put my power cable in first. It's going to go right here in that hinge. Okay. And by using the edge of the table, it's going to come in handy for you. All right. But the power cables go on the inside of the cam. I put the end of the cable in there. I pinch it down to the cam. And then I'm going to come down here and pull the slack through. Okay. Pull as tight as you can. And you'll know real quick whether you have enough to work with or not. I'm going to be really close. Just like that. Okay, just like that. Now, I'll put tension against the cam. And I'm going to hold my thumb on it, just like that, while I come around this other side. I'm trying to stay out of your way, but I know it's not working real well. So my yoke cable, I'll go in the cam over here, and I'll come around, hold it with my hand here, and now I want to go on my saddle. I'll turn it so you can see. Go low here. So I want to go under my saddle and under that bolt. Okay. And then I'll pull it tight again and put it right in there. And then all I got to do is go over top. And there we go. So that was super tight. Okay. This is why I say stop at 1/8" or whatever on your limb bolt, but that's what we're looking for. Okay. Now that's actually tight enough to where it's going to hold itself. I can turn around here and I can do the exact same thing in this end. Get a little go juice here. And I'm actually going to back out a couple to make it a little easier on myself. Okay. Make sure these washers go on top of the limbs. Slide my limb all the way in there. Get it on my pivot bar. I'm going to set right down there again. Anybody got any questions? Okay. So open up the hinge gap. I'm going to do this one backwards because I got my long tail. Wherever your long tail starts, that's the side of the cam you can start on. Power cables go on the inside of the cam. Hold it with my hand. Pull slack. Okay. There we go. And then came out on me. All right, just like that. Okay, last cable. I'm going to do like I did before. I'm going to start over here. And come around. Oh, that one wasn't loose enough. See, it won't. So all I got to do is loosen this up a little bit. Okay. And I'll see about how much slack I got, if I have any. I think I got enough. Maybe, maybe not. Looks like it's going to be too tight. So all I got to do is come around here and loosen up a little bit and see about getting that on there. Well, there we go. Just listen to what it tells you. Okay, we got that on there, and everything's looking good. All right, so now grab your bowstring. Brand new bowstring. You'll have a longer section and top section on your finger six. I'm going to take and put this one on the bottom. Stretch this out here. Put this bottom limb down here in my crotch. And before I put this on here, me fiddling with it, I probably unraveled it a little bit. So I like to add about 8. Pull down on my limb and put my string on. Make sure it's in the center. Make sure it's in the center. This one's not. Okay. There we go. Now we're in the center. I'm going to look at my hinge gaps. Okay. My hinge gap's open there. Hinge gap is open here. And I'm going to look at my cables. My yoke cable is just off the front of the cam right there. And my yoke cable is just off the front of the cam right here. This is absolutely perfect. Like, this is as good as it gets. Okay. So before I start putting a weight on this bow, remember that we tightened up our timing set. Before I put weight on it, I want to loosen that timing set up and make sure that it is free from binding on the timing wheel. And now I can pick my bow weight. Okay. Decide how much bow weight I want to shoot. And I'm going to start going even poundage. Back and forth, back and forth. Now these limbs are supposed to be 35-pound max limbs. I don't know, because this is the first time they've been on this bow. And this is a Hawk, okay, a Super Hawk. So it'll actually make a little bit more than 35 pounds. All right. All right, now I want to look at my gap on my end caps and my riser, making sure that I'm staying even. And I'm going to come back here and I'm going to look. If I can take my outboards and wobble it back and forth, that means I'm right there on the cusp of being an even tiller. Okay. If I give this just like an eighth of a turn, you'll watch it move that much. So I don't know how much weight I've got yet, but I've got a fair amount of preload on these limbs, so it's a good time for me to check and see. Now I could get a scale out. I'm not going to. I want a fair amount of weight on the fingers. By locking my timing set down, now I can actually draw the bow and test it and see what it feels like. Okay, so I've got the Robert Blackburn draw stops in there that actually increase draw weight as they come back, and I'm already with a little bit of I probably got 3 turns left, top and bottom. I'm already to 35 pounds. So I'm probably going to back off just a little bit. That's a little bit too much for what I want. This is going to be my springtime numbers bow. This orange bow over here is set at about 38 pounds already. So I want something that's more in the 30-pound range for shooting in the shallows. I lost my place. I was talking.
This is going to be your numbers bow, the other one.
Oh no, I knew what I was saying. I lost track of how many turns I had top and bottom.
Okay.
There it is. My timing set was hanging up on me. Probably had it a little too snug. Yep, I did. That's why it wasn't moving. Okay. There we go. Now, as you can see, both of the angles here, the gap that I have here and the gap that I have here are almost the dead same, right? Some bows you can just look and tell, is it good, right? You want them even. This one is that way, but if it was a bow that I couldn't, I would take a tape measure and go just wherever you can here. I'm 5 inches dead nuts there, and I'm 5 and about a 32nd there. So that's super close. I can go ahead and tighten my timing set down one more time. Now we took off about 2 turns, and I like that. That's at the back there. I'm 30, 31, 32, but it's really rubbery up front, and I can just make those little shots like that. So let's get this G Raptor out, and I'll show you what it's about. So when you buy the G Raptor, anybody got any questions or anything? Anybody say anything? Okay. So when you get the G-Raptor, you can get it with one adapter or four. It's 125 that way. I think 150 if you buy all of them. This one is specifically designed for Osprey risers. That little teardrop deal goes right here on this. So, and it's just as simple as that. I don't have to line it up. I don't have to index it. It indexes itself. I guess a guy could try to put it on upside down, but it'd be awful hard to do. That's it. I don't have to struggle with it. I don't have to line it up. I don't do nothing. This little button right here, that's your locking device. Okay. And it's going to go right here. And that little click, it's in there. It's not coming out. If you want to take it out, you're going to push on the button. Okay. Push on the button and it'll come right off. So I'll go ahead and push that there. There's another button right here. I push this and it will open up the trap door right here. Okay. I can go ahead and see about putting my reel right there. And that thing is locked in. Okay. Even without any adjustment, that is really good. But I want to go ahead and get just a little bit more. So there's a little thumb wheel right here. And all I'm going to do is move that thumb wheel about a half a turn. And that got just a little tighter. And that's golden, man. So now if for whatever reason I'm putting my bow up and I don't have a case that, you know, this will go in, all I have to do is come back here and hit the button in the back. There you go. Hit the button in the back. I can take this and throw this in another part of the case, or I can have one of these set up and put it in my console of my boat, or I have this as a spare or whatever. Okay. If you want to keep spare reels, just take this off, grab you another reel, throw it in there, and just like that, you swapped everything out. So I'm excited for that. I don't really tear up many reels, maybe 2 a year. You know, generally that's my fault as far as tearing things up. But what do you think? I think got the old girl looking pretty sweet. Oh, well, one other thing we've not put on here yet. I got a shelf rest here from Joey. Boy, I'm getting tired. I dropped my screw. I'm gonna have to find my screw. There it is. I was more worried about what that is. I think it's 3/16. It is. That is awful tight. Of course, nothing's ever been threaded in from that side, so get a little bit of grease on there. Run it through that way once. Yep, just a brand new bow. Nothing had ever been in on that side, so I was cutting through paint. But there you go, brand new rest, and all I got to do is put a knocking point on here and make sure that I've got my arrows flying good, and I've got two matching bows. And it's kind of the whole purpose of the build is I always want, if I set one bow down, I want to be able to grab the other bow and it feel the same. I've got the same grips, same reels, same reel seats. It's the same outboards, the same draw length. Just one of them's, about 32 pounds and the other one is about 36 pounds or so, 38 maybe. Aside from that, that's good. I mean, that's it. Anybody got anything to add? We'll make sure that we come back on our yoke cables after we've drawed it and the cables have set in and made sure they're flush or, even on both sides. Make sure we put these in. Now, I will say one thing. If you look down the bow and it looks like the outboard is off to one side, you can take and loosen this up and twist the limb a little bit, and that will actually move the cable through just slightly, okay? And then you can tighten it back down. All I'm doing is tightening it into the coating on the cable, and that one's good. Brand new limbs on here, matching hawks, super hawks with matching reel seats, and that's a wrap. What y'all think? Anybody got anything to add? Put this over here. Anybody learn anything? Did you enjoy watching me struggle? And there's Amy's bows. She's got guard gods on hers. I like how that one turned out. Water drop blue powers and yoke, and a blue and pink string. Carbon fiber dip TJE. That little girl right there is on
Live View
fire.
says thank you. I learned a lot.
Sure, bud. Appreciate you joining me on the live. Well, guys, as always, don't forget to shoot straight, shoot often. Don't forget to wear the PFDs while you're out there chasing guys' critters. And maybe I'll see you out there somewhere in the shallows. Y'all stay safe. I'll see y'all in the next one.
I don't know how to end it, so.
You hit the X button.
Okay.